George. I'm Lynn Santer. I'm the project manager and co-producer of Almythea, a new exciting sci-fi franchise that we hope to be bringing to the Gold Coast. Just before we start, a few matters of housekeeping. Could everybody please turn their mobile phones to silent? Thank you. If anyone wants tea or coffee, water over there, the facilities are over there. If anyone wants to have a cigarette, shuttle buses will be leaving on the hour to cross the state border. Thank you. If anyone wants a full recording of today, you can speak to my AV wizard, Michael Thomas, over there. And so let me tell you a little bit about what this is all about before we throw over to our VIPs for this morning. When we launched the first book in the Almythea series with the sexy, sinister system lord from Stargate SG-1, Cliff Simon, last November at Supernova in Brisbane, since then the fans have been screaming, wanting to know when and where we're going to shoot the first film. Now the script is nearing completion. The Gold Coast was always a serious consideration in this, and we thought, we Team Almythea, or the Almythians as we call ourselves, thought with all the doom and gloom in the media about coronavirus and Australia wanting to bring business and tourism back after the bushfires, this was a good time for a good news story, and this certainly will be good news for Australia, and specifically the Gold Coast. So it's been quite a juggling act coordinating the four diaries of the four amazing we have live from Hollywood on the screen here. Down bottom right, we have Bruce Logan, our director, who is the man who blew up the Death Star in Star Wars, among his other credits, which include 2 Emmys, which I think you can see one of them behind him on the shelf there. He's going to talk to us about his vision for the project, virtual sets. We've already had preliminary discussions, Bruce and I and James, with a local Gold Coast company on that. Then we have at the bottom right, James Gannier, my production partner in Hollywood, who's a bit of aficionado on the sci-fi conventions and has got some interesting things to say about that. Top left, we have the ever-effervescent Eddie Pong. just a second, right, Eddie, who is our expert on the Chinese market. He has offices in Hollywood and Beijing. And his uncle, he found out this morning, is being awarded with the Congressional Medal of Honor. Congratulations.
Yes.
Fantastic. And
yeah, proud of him. Yes. So he was on the beach of Normandy.
Very impressive. And then top right, we have he who holds the purse strings, our executive producer, Peter Bergman from Porchlight Entertainment, who is going to tell you a bit about his passion for Australia. He's filmed here before. I think he'd actually like to move here. He can tell you about that. And yes, his experience with various things in Australia. Of course, we're very honoured also to have mayoral candidate Brett Lambert with us, who, a bit like the hero in Almythea, is planning to bring power back for people when he wins this election. And I want to acknowledge too the creator, AJ Coombs in the Hunter Valley, especially as AJ wishes to give back from his success with Almythea to Beyond Blue. I think it's a sad reality of life that there probably isn't a person in this room who hasn't been touched by or knows somebody who's been touched by depression or even worse, taking their own life. So it's important to AJ that we give back from this project. What's that feedback we've got happening there? And in fact, the slogan of Almythea, we're right, AV Wizard? Yes. The slogan of Almythea is Defy the Darkness, which is a double entendre both for beating the bad guy and for the demons of depression. So, nothing to do with the mayoral contest at all. Now, with that, I'm just asking a few questions to the end, and I will throw it over to our director, Bruce Logan, to take the floor from here. Take it away, Bruce. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you're coming in and out a little bit there, so I hope I'm not doing the same thing. But my name's Bruce Logan, and just a little background. First film I worked on was 2001 Odyssey, and I got a visual effects credit at the age of 19 on that movie. And then I went on to be the director of photography on Tron, I did some DP work on Star Trek the motion picture. But as you mentioned, my claim to fame is that I grew up with Death Star in Star Wars New Hope. So I've been involved in Almythea initially as a story consultant since about 2017. And I was immediately drawn to it. And it really, the mythology of it really resonated with me. And the mythology of this story I like to think of as the war in heaven. It's about the main bad guy is a fallen angel. So I went on to co-write the screenplay treatment and was hired to direct from last year. And so in the current time we're doing preliminary casting, and we're coming up with production concept design, and of course we're polishing the screenplay. But we are interested in doing production in Australia, and we're in talks with a visual effects company on the Gold Coast about virtual set technologies. And so I'm very excited about it, and I know time is short, so I'm going to hand it over.
Thank you.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Well, we'll open up the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruce. I'd like now to throw over to James, who's going to talk about the convention market, please.
James Kinnear with Rio Vista Universal, the production company for Almythea. One of the key things about any film success is to really connect with the right audience. And really kind of taking a page out of George Lucas's playbook is he was the first film ever to go directly to Comic-Con fans in San Diego Comic-Con, which altered the market altogether. He did a lot of firsts. For us, we obviously started and kicked off at Supernova. Anytime you can connect directly with your fans, it's always a huge thing for a film. And I'm a huge sci-fi fan. And we've already have another convention that is lined up here called WonderCon, and Bruce is going to be joining us for there. So we have a panel coming up that's about romance and sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. And what people don't know is romance or the love story is what really elevates a lot of these stories, because and Bruce and I have had a lot of conversations about this, that one of the biggest things for is to connect with another human being and on a certain level. And so we see that theme coming in so many stories, and Bruce has been wonderful in shepherding this story to make sure that we have that depth that is really needed to, take a story to that next level. And of course, we'll have him on a panel for romance and sci-fi, fantasy, and horror at WonderCon, which is also run by Comic-Con International, the same company who does the huge one down in San Diego that we're at every year.
And from now on, I'm calling.
Fantastic, looking forward to it.
Michael?
Lynn?
Yeah, sorry, my mic went off for a moment. Yeah, from now on, I'm calling Bruce the Shepherd. That's an interesting term. We'll talk about that with Steve on Thursday, Bruce. All right, thank you, James. Now I'd like to switch to Eddie to tell us what exciting developments are happening in China and what this could mean for Almythea, please.
Well, sorry, I don't have an impressive record like James or Bruce. I started out as a computer animator in the early 80s and wind up teaching at UCLA for teaching computer animation at UCLA for about 5 years. Then I started my company, and we did a lot of behind-the-scenes work special effects and computer animation at the time. As a matter of fact, I remember we had some work done for Star Trek, the TV series. But anyway, but because of this work, I actually contracted some work overseas in China. That was in the mid-90s, and I found that the result was, except
and how many new movie theatres are going up a week in China, Eddie?
Say that again? I'm sorry?
How many new movie theatres are going up a week in China?
Okay, as of 2019, there are 68,000 screens. So there are a lot of theaters in China, and Chinese folks love to watch movies.
And they love sci-fi too, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So somebody saying, sorry.
I was just going to say you've been in on the ground floor of the film production with us for some years now.
Yes. We have a production company and also a film company in Beijing. The Chinese market is very important to us.
Okay, thank you very much. And now to he who holds the purse strings. Peter, why does Australia hold such an attraction to you?
Well, we produced 3 years of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World down on the Gold Coast, and it was a fabulous experience. And I couldn't think of a better crew than we had down there. And to bring Almythea down there would be phenomenal for us as a company and as well for the Gold Coast to make its mark in feature films.
I think we've got
so that's a tremendous attraction. And of course, having that fabulous Australian wine doesn't hurt either.
That's your real motive, isn't it? Be honest.
We're looking forward to coming down here and putting this together. I've got over 30 years of experience in producing, first for ABC, and then for Porchlight, which does a lot of family values programming. And as much as this is sci-fi, there's so many elements within the storyline that
Indeed.
Bruce and the writers have concocted that it just looks like a slam dunk to me.
Well, I think we've got somebody here who will agree with you about what this is going to mean for the Gold Coast. So here's the man who will be mayor, Brett Lambert, and a little bit about his experience with film that I'm guessing you wouldn't know about before.
Good morning from Australia, Peter.
Good morning.
Brett Lambert, I'm Brett Lambert, Mayoral candidate for the Gold Coast. It was a pleasure to meet all four of you gentlemen. We appreciate you taking the time out to actually beam into us. Now that's not a cliche Star Wars because beam into us. But it certainly is a pleasure to have you on screen with us today. And as Lynn said, I've actually worked with the film industry on our Gold Coast. We've had some other productions here, such as the Salmon Bay's Fault, Dwayne Johnson, the star, of course. Beautiful man to work with, and it was a wonderful pleasure to work with him and be a part of the movie and the production of it. And one of the other things we have worked on is the oh, it's slipped my mind, sorry. But we do have other movie productions that we have worked on. Oh, that's what it was Pacific Rim. That's it. Busy place, busy mind, busy life. I have a lot on my mind. But anyway, Pacific Rim, we actually worked on that one too, within our city, and that was a wonderful production too. It's sensational to have here. But more so, for what you gentlemen are bringing to us, and introducing the Gold Coast to you, we thank you so much.
And we look forward to working with you when the production comes here. And what about the importance of giving? What about the importance of giving back with this project supporting Beyond Blue?
Oh, absolutely. Lynn mentioned to me that it supported Beyond Blue solely. Beyond Blue is extremely important because suicide is climbing. Sadly, it's climbing. And with the climbing waves, Beyond Blue has a huge support system that is needed. And we do appreciate what you've done to support that, because we know it's very needy hard as well, and very close to us. And not that it gets enough mention, we certainly want to help escalate the support that is put out there for everybody else.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Lambert. Just to let you guys in Hollywood know, we also have somebody here from the Gold Coast Bulletin, our major newspaper here, and somebody from...
Juice.
Just so you know. Now, I'm happy to open the floor to any questions from anyone in the media. Any questions, anyone? Yep. I've got Tim from Channel 10 coming up. They'll need the microphone for you.
Question for Bruce Logan. Bruce, good morning.
Yes.
You famously blew up the Death Star, as you mentioned earlier. Can we see similar explosions on the Gold Coast in this movie franchise?
Well, I hope not. yes, there will be. There will be. The explosions are done a little differently these days, and you know, I know that the last Star Wars tried to kind of emulate some of the work we did in the first movie. They did some actual triggered explosions, but most of them are CG these days. So I think we'll probably see more CG than regular explosions as we did in Star Wars.
With CG, of course, venues for these types of productions are all about jobs, catering, you know, numbers of boots on the ground for people involved in these sorts of productions. What would it mean for the Gold Coast if you important folks decided to come down under and pull this all together here?
I think that's probably more...
Well, I'm always seeing on at the end of our movies these days how many people were employed. And they say that, you know, they say 25,000 people were employed on this movie. So I think we could see a good proportion of that, you know. But I also put that question to our producers. So please.
Well, I think...
that's the thing is whenever you move a production to a given location or country, you employ a huge amount of that army there locally. You have to. I mean, you wouldn't want to, cost-wise, be flying in everybody. And that's one of the great things using the location to film it is being able to utilize the massive amount of local talent there. And it brings an environment of its own and a special magic to the film. That's always something that we consider when we're looking at, and it's something to be expected when we go ahead and are filming at any given location.
Peter, you were talking about on the purse strings. What
Say that again?
I'll just a question for Peter Bergman.
Yeah.
Peter, you're the dollar man, I'm told. You get to spend the money. What can it mean for locations for people like you to come down here and experience the Gold Coast? And secondly, what sort of reputation does the Gold Coast have for creating these sorts of productions?
Well, for my experience with Conan Doyle was that the talent that was available to us locally was phenomenal. And I couldn't have expected better talent here in Hollywood than I found down in the Gulf Coast. So basically, in terms of costs, it's the cost of just bringing myself and housing me while we're down there to make this thing work. And fortunately, a great deal of production these days in terms of post-production, editing, and assembling can be done through joint efforts on the internet, the same as we're having this conversation right now. There are software packages that you can connect post houses in 3, 4, or 5 different locations around the world. The camaraderie that comes out of that is phenomenal as well. And I think that the Gold Coast, and I think it was Warner's that had a studio down there, could become a hub for production. And that's one of the things I'm hoping for, because I'd like to spend significant time down there. I had a wonderful experience there with Lost World. In addition to that, of course, Australia has some benefits in terms of budget and tax abatements that can be utilized to soften the impact. I'm looking forward to getting down there and making this happen and watching the Gulf Coast perhaps expand its reputation in actual production. And this book is just the first in a series, and I would hope that we can build a franchise with it.
So is it a done deal? Will you be coming, or are we still in the mix with other locations?
I didn't hear that.
Well, I think if it was just up with Peter, it would definitely be a done deal. I mean, obviously there's all the details of the paperwork and stuff like that, but we all have a fondness for Australia. Of course, Lynn being there, that's a huge thing as well. And then, this past year I partnered with Jim Henson Company, who filmed Farscape in Australia, and a lot of my dear friends on there as well had a wonderful experience filming there. So it's Australia definitely is strong in our hearts, and we'd like to see some great stuff happen down there, especially after all the horrible news with all these fires.
Yeah, I'd also like to, the origin of that story comes from that. And, I think we certainly honor where the story has come from.
And I'm sure AG would love to have us down there so you can come to set.
Just a little bit. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think we have a new network arrived. We've got 7 here. Hey, all right, we have network 7 here as well now. Sorry you missed some of the early information here, but we'll catch you up on that. Any other questions from anyone, or especially our newcomers? At this point, no? We're all good? Anything you'd like to add about what this could mean for the Gold Coast, given what the guys have just said?
Absolutely, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. What related to the Gold Coast is phenomenal. What you're going to do and bring to the Gold Coast will invigorate our tourism, but not just our tourism, but our employment. Also the fact that we can supply you with accommodation of all the facilities that we have throughout our Gold Coast to make you feel welcome, to the point that you're going to have everything at hand to produce a wonderful movie. And we do thank you for that, because the employment and everything else is one of these things that actually drops away with all the situations taking place. So it's a bonus that you have taken a great interest in the Gold Coast and want to make us shine. We thank you for that.
And if I may just a little repeat for the latecomers, that this project is supporting Beyond Blue, because it's very close to the creator's heart, AJ Prince, the hunter, to support that vital cause that I think we've all been touched by. And the slogan of this franchise is Defy the Darkness. My AV guy is trying to tell me something, I'm not sure what. And it has a double entendre for both beating the bad guy and the demon's infiltration. And it has nothing whatsoever to do with the mayoral election. At all. All right, guys, I'm going to say farewell to the four in Hollywood now. So thank you so much for making yourselves available. And let's together... Come on, what are we going to do together? Thank you very much. All right. Farewell to Hollywood, and we'll bring it back to the Gold Coast. Thank you so much for your time. Love you all. We'll see you soon. Okay. Now, we've just got to draw some raffle prizes because Lonestar has been handing out free raffle tickets all weekend. So I'm going to... we don't need the microphone anymore now. We just... Okay.
More fair.
We needed the microphone so the guys over there could hear us. Yep. So we've got 3 Almythea packages that are going to go to 3 of the patrons that were here this weekend. If you could just read out the name.
And we have Pauline. Pauline is a winner, our first prize winner for a package.
I'm going to contact the winners this afternoon. We obviously knew they wouldn't be here today. 2 more, please.
And we have a Tanya. We do have contact phone numbers on these, so they will be contacted by Lynn.
Yep.
So congratulations to Tanya.
Yep.
And we have a Eugene. So Eugene will be contacted too for third prize.
So and the prize packages are over there if you're interested in having a look at them. Now in the red bags that I've given you, you haven't got one? You have got one. There's some YouTube and Vimeo links, which if you want to download the high-res footage from the Vimeo YouTube links, you can. They include videos with Priscilla Presley, who's a cast member and executive producer on this project, and thank you, Roberta. And Cliff Simon, who's another important cast member on this project. And otherwise, unless you have any more questions, which we'll be happy to answer. Sorry?
I would like to talk to Brett.
Emily would like to talk to Brett.
Oh, would I be listening?
Sure. Private, yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you so much for coming, everyone. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Any...
Great.
Chloe?
Lynn, yes. I finally
Thought it was you.
in person. How are you? I recognise your voice when you spoke on the phone.
And there you have it. That was the live stream with 4 Hollywood heavyweights. We had Bruce Logan, we had James Gagne, Peter Bergman and Eddie Pong from LA, all interested in bringing Almythea, the science fiction franchise, to film in Australia, in fact on the Gold Coast. And we had mayoral candidate Brett Lambert, who's very excited about the project, Lynn Santer, who's the executive producer, manager of the whole project. I actually helped with the PR for the launch of Almythea. Here's the book here. This launched actually in the Hunter Valley on the Gold Coast and at Supernova in Brisbane late last year. And I actually emceed an event at the Hunter Valley, which is where the author's from, AJ Coots, with the amazing Joanna Griggs, whose mum was my Year 6 teacher, can you believe it, at North Bargalla Primary School. And Joanna and I go way back. I hadn't seen her for a long time. It was quite bizarre to be emceeing an event alongside her. Anyway, this is the media call, and you've seen it first here on Mass Media Tribe. I've gone live with Channel 7, Channel 10. We've got the lovely Chloe here from Juice, and a few others here. So it's been very exciting. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to find out more about Almythea, check out almythea.com. Here it is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Almythea.com. ALMYTHEA.com. All right. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. I'm so excited about this potentially coming to be filmed on the Gold Coast. It's going to be huge for the Gold Coast economy to have a huge Hollywood film like this, all this Hollywood interest in a Australian written franchise. And Almythea, it's taken 20 years for AJ Coots to put this first in the series out. There's only 6 in the series. It's very, very exciting. It's said to be potentially as big, if not bigger, than Star Wars. Well, that's a big claim. Let's see how we go with that. All right, I'm Aldwyn Altuney. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll sign out, I think, on this live, unless Lynn's busy, Brett's busy or being interviewed. So I will sign out now. And yes, it is exciting, Christian. Good to see you. Thank you again for joining us. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy this lovely Monday, or if you're in LA, of course, it would be Sunday over there. So I'd say it'd be night time for those guys. And yeah, can't wait. Almythea.com. But check out what he's doing too. I think he's great, and very excited about him potentially making it in as mayor too. But then that's politics, you know, make up your own mind on that one. I don't want to get involved with all that. However, check him out. I think Brett seems like a really great guy, and I think he's definitely good potential for the Gold Coast. Thank you to all the media who've supported this event as well. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Defy the darkness.